It's official. Trump, and one might say Elon Musk, are on the cusp of showing us how to destroy a housing market. Now, obviously, here in this case, we are talking about one very specific location, Washington, D.C. But there is a bigger story here. If you ever want to see how to destroy a housing market, this is how you do it. One, you initiate activities, in this case, layoffs, that not only promote people to be interested in listing their homes, but you promote layoffs that likely require movement to find new employment. If half the things I read are true about the DC area, the amount of layoffs have only started. It will get worse, and I suspect a lot of folks that get that notice will have to move to find work. So you are going to create a lot of motivated supply. But the thing to destroying a housing market is not only supply, you have to dent demand. So again, with what is going on currently, with what is going on in the media, you obviously have any buyers less confident in buying. So what is happening in the DC area and is only started to be reported, you are going to see the implosion of a housing market. It probably has 3 to 6 months to play out. Now, as always, if you are an investor, if you have a buy box, if you are doing the work, I suspect in 60 or 90 Oh, I'm back. So there we go. So what I was just about to say about DC is if you are an investor, I suspect over the next 60 to 90 days, you'll be able to write disrespectful offers that just might cash flow. I think it's going to get that bad. Again, you are going to see migrations out of DC. You're going to see a lot of motivated sellers. You're going to see demand collapse. And bingo, bango, that's how you destroy a housing market. Now, for those out there that were at my event over the weekend, I want to remind you about something that Graham Stephan said, keynote on Saturday. One of the things I noted from Graham Stephan's conversation is he said, if you put Trump in the title, your videos get watched more. Hence, Trump is in my title. It is nothing more complicated than that. So let's talk about what else is happening this week, because a lot of stuff is coming. We've got some earnings coming out after market today. We got Toll Brothers. It'll be very interesting to see what is going on with high-end builders. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we get Etsy, Carvana, and the Cheesecake Factory. What is going on with consumers? Walmart, Wayfair, and Rivian will come in on Thursday. And then on Friday, we will get a large REIT Arbor out. For those of you that were expecting a daily financial news yesterday, you should have, because I have not missed a day in 4 or 5 years. And the simple answer is I woke up to do the financial news yesterday and was exhausted. So I went back to bed. I ended up sleeping 16 hours yesterday. Yes, the 2-day ORAD event clearly took a lot out of me. And I do not remember sleeping 16 hours before. So yesterday was pretty wild. I did not expect that. And I went to bed last night normally and slept through the evening. So I was clearly exhausted. So yes, no daily financial news yesterday. I apologize, but thankfully I feel 1,000 times better today, and we will continue from here. A couple other things. We have some Fed talk, Fed speeches. They were out busy yesterday, even though yesterday was President's Day. Fed President Harker. I see inflation back at 2% over the next 2 years. Can you say higher for longer? Future rate policy decisions will be data-driven. Data-driven. So again, what is coming? Economy is functioning from a position of strength. Higher for longer. All right, how about Fed President Waller? Favors holding rates until inflation moderates. Again, higher for longer. Fed Bowman, high asset prices may have impeded progress on inflation. Again, this is the wealth effect, right? She could have very easily put in the wealth effect as an example. Patience on rate cuts provide more clarity on the impact of administration policies. Are you starting to see a trend? Are you starting to see why there's no March rate cut, likely no June rate cut, and frankly, again, maybe no rate cut all year? Last thing from Fed President Bowman is wage growth above level of consistent with Fed inflation target. Can you say wage spiral? This is something we probably haven't talked about in a couple of years. And then finally, Fed President Logan, next couple of months of inflation data will be pretty important. Remember, folks, we have been calling out 3 months on the inflation reports because of the positive base effect. We already have January disappoint. Remember, January CPI went higher when people thought it would go lower. Fed President Logan is correct. The next 2 months are their chance to see inflation come down, because if it doesn't in the next 2 months, it could get ugly. Audio. So you guys are having audio issues. I am so sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Seems like some of you are okay, so that's good. So let's see. We got a super chat here. Let me scroll up. I missed it earlier. My bad. Yeah, I think you're right. Well, Chester, I think you are absolutely right. All right, so let's keep the party going. One of the things I did want to say that I didn't highlight enough, if you were a part of the ORAD event, one of the things that hopefully you saw there is the community, right? The people in the audience make the event. It was just as, if not more, of a family this year than year one. I really want to highlight that is what I'm trying to bring to school, right? We had a great presentation from Fred on day 2, talking about the mindset and all of that. One of the things that I believe school will provide you if you join is that community of people going in the same direction, is that little dopamine hit of goodness. Obviously, the free education and all that other stuff are there, but the community is the thing, right? I believe my school community is how you stay in a positive mood. It is how you stay engaged, even though it takes time to buy your first or next rental property. You've got to be in the right communities, and that is what I look forward to my school community providing. I do want to give a shout out to Brian Adamson. Brian Adamson did something special on day 1, and he actually got me in the podcast room. In fact, it was the only video on my channel yesterday. It was called Why I Don't Chase Money. Well, a lot of folks out there in the entrepreneur world are constantly berating and beating me up for this and that. And it was nice of Brian to kind of pull it out of me, why I am not chasing money. Why am I not doing things like advertising and hiring virtual assistants and all of those things? So if you want to watch a video explaining why I'm not chasing money, you can go ahead and watch that on my channel yesterday. Let's congratulate Brett. Brett from Baller Properties. Gotta like that name. Baller Properties out there got his first deal. His card will be going out in the mail today. Got some data from Lance Lambert. Again, Lance, thanks for flying out, giving us that info on home prices. Looks like year over year, home prices were up 2.6%. From 2022 peak, they are up 1.3%. These are obviously national numbers. And March 2020, we are up 42.9%. Yes, folks, the crash bros have been talking about crashes since 2020, and they've only are wrong 42.9% plus their 20% crash. So, hey, they were only off by 60%. I do want to congratulate a bunch of school members did join over the weekend at the event. Lisa, Kelly, Brett, Sierra, Carlos, and Brian. Thank you for all being there. I look forward to a lot more people joining, because I think people are starting to understand that I'm not messing around. I am trying to create that community for folks. Avalon Bay, the largest REIT by market cap. You got to pay attention to this one. The largest REIT by market cap had an earnings call the other day, and these were the takeaways. I got 6 takeaways that we should all be paying attention to. 1, they are going to ramp up apartment construction by 50% in 2025. Interesting. Number 2, they are going to focus on California and the Sun Belt. Okay. They sold assets in Seattle, LA, Boston, and DC because of regulation risk. Now, regulation risk really comes in 2 forms. One is rent control, and the second is eviction moratoriums, i.e., they don't want any piece of that. Number 4, tariffs could add $5,000 to $7,000 per unit. So if you're building a 100-unit apartment, just for easy math, that is a potentially $700,000 in extra cost. Guess what? Rents are going to go up. Number 5, more subcontractors looking for work. So labor is getting cheaper. Again, we have seen apartment deliveries at record numbers, but there is this air pocket. So Avalon Bay is looking to take advantage of that. And then finally, wage growth greater than rent growth, which helps with affordability. Folks, I brought this to you 2 or 3 years ago. The only way out of this unaffordability, you only have 3 options: lower rate, lower prices, or wage growth. And I am talking about real wage growth. And that is why we are going to have a decade of, it's going to take a while to get past this. Don't know if you saw this, or maybe you fly Southwest Airlines, but they're slashing 15% of corporate jobs. Now, what does 15% equate to? 1,750 jobs are estimated to be impacted. This is an unprecedented move by Southwest. If you don't know anything about their story, there was a book written probably a couple of decades ago that I actually read in business school, so it would have to be a couple of decades ago, about they would do everything they can not to have layoffs. So this is clearly a different era. Let's talk about real estate foreclosures. Again, foreclosures. Let's compare to 2019. Residential, aka where the crash bros are. Foreclosures are down 42% from 2019. Commercial, 5 units and up, office, warehouse, all of that, is actually up 14% from 2019. And folks, it will only get worse from here. We did get some indication from restaurants that it is a very slow Q1. Slower sales at the start of 2025 could be because of freezing temperatures, wildfires, and consumer caution. So we're going to see what's going on there. And then we did get 2 economic reports this morning. First, Empire State Manufacturing had a surprise to the upside. Last month, it was negative 12.6. Estimates were for slightly negative at -2, but had a big jump to a positive 5.7. Folks, any positive number means expansion, not contraction. One of the concerning variables in that number was inflation expectations, aka prices paid in the future, did jump to 54.7. So we might be seeing inflation coming down the pipeline. And then finally, the last economic report we got today was home builder confidence, and it crashed hard. Again, we saw this coming, right? It crashed to 42, which is the lowest reading since September. If you're a home builder, you are staring in the teeth of tariffs, labor, and high interest rates. It's hard to be bullish when you have that trifecta. Again, one of the things that I believe is coming down the pipeline is smaller homes. Again, we have an affordability problem. We have a first time or entry-level housing problem. Builders are going to eventually figure that out, and we will get smaller stuff. So, folks, I hope you have a great day. Want to congratulate Brett one more time. I love sending out these golden tickets. If you did go to the event, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. What'd you think? What can we do different? What can we improve? And the second, I do have a question. What was her name? Why am I drawing a blank? We had a presentation from Lisa Sutton. Lisa Sutton talked about her mentor, Ken McElroy. Hopefully you remember that. She did talk about an exercise Ken McElroy put her through, right? Where he had a large piece of paper There were 3 things that Ken asked. I can only remember 2 of them. So if you can remember the third, put it in the comments below. The first one was, which of all your activities make you money? 2, which is the one that you could see yourself doing in 10 years? And then I forget what the third one was. So if you could put the comments below for Lisa Sutton's presentation, I would appreciate it. Folks, have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself. Bye.